This works. It's inside.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
It's
yeah.
like a different name.
All right. So let's see. It's funny. I used to be an altar boy when I was a kid. Oh my gosh, I remember these so well.
Yeah. So that was. I asked us to bring that out just in case.
Let's try. Let's do a prep. So it's this wick right
It's
here,
that
right?
wick right here, yeah. And this is this. This is yeah. That was for somebody.
Oh, all right.
But you mean the other rooms?
Oh, I see. Well, we'll try. I'll give it my best shot.
That's where I think we can just
So that's
bring
it.
this. Put the signal and you put the station.
Okay, good.
See,
So I think we're gonna do it. I'm pretty good. I'm fairly confident. Fairly confident.
So I was gonna say, give us plenty of space if
If
we
we
can.
can. Now let me see.
There we go.
So look, this is my little I put the Phoenix ones over there. So let's try this again.
Pretty good.
Yes.
Just checking.
That's good.
That's good.
So that's
I'll use the plastic one.
you'll use the plastic, I'll use the glass. Here
Great.
we go.
So I was trying to explain to 117 year old this is really not safe to talk about things.
Yeah.
I said, well, I'm going to, I go, I bet, I have to come back to spectrum. I said, they have a risk.
Yeah.
And you can't be doing all, it makes it fun for kids that way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Kids is not.
I know. Let me see what I see some people I know in the house.
I heard you guys are moving. You guys are not moving.
We're expanding because of the need. So we bought, well, we're staying where we are, but we bought a building on Pine Street last spring.
What building is that?
84 Pine Street.
Right across.
Across from the new one that's going up. The new one that's all in yellow. Out, we're right across the street. So it's Vermont Federal Credit Union. So we're going to be in there.
And that's where, oh yeah, I know where that is now.
So we have that. And then St. Albans, we expanded there.
So I have to, if I'm kind of ready to go to a certain location, just tell me to go to your,
Highly code.
yeah, until office. Help me out just for a minute. When you move out, help me out just for a minute.
Right. We're expanding.
Because I gotta keep up with that stuff. I go the active and I gotta keep up with all that.
Yeah, yeah. Important.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she's standing right in front of me, whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah, let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be. When the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Help me sing it. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. One more time. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. When the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to worship at the First Unitarian Universalist Society of Burlington, a congregation committed to seeking truth, advocating for justice, practicing compassion, cherishing life and possibility. We acknowledge that our meeting house, which has stood here for more than 200 years, is land that for many centuries has been home of the Western Wabanaki people, as it is still today. We are guests in this place. We take responsibility for its stewardship, as we are responsible for the stewardship of the earth. My name is Rodney Lowe, and I'm today's worship associate. It's been a while since I've had this role, so forgive the inevitable mistakes, and the wind is going to be an interesting and exciting challenge today. So I had to staple these together. Think of me as a position player on a baseball team stepping in when the starting pitchers and the bullpen are unavailable. I'm happy to share the service today with Mark Redmond, who's sitting right on the end here, who's worked in the field of caring for the homeless and at-risk youth for over 40 years. He's presently Executive Director of Spectrum Youth and Family Services in Burlington, Vermont, whose offices are right over there. He has published columns in Forbes, the New York Times, the Washington Post, Huffington Post, Commonweal, National Catholic Reporter, and America. He has told stories for the Moth Radio Hour, as well as other podcasts such as The Lapse, Strangers, and Risk. A story he told for WGBH Stories from the Stage played on most public television stations around the US. And his one-person show on Broadway, So Shines a Good Deed, premiered in October 2019. 6 days later, his one-person show, The Mustache Diaries, premiered at the Flynn Space in Burlington, and he's performed on stage in Boston, Brooklyn, Montreal, and Burlington. These are his words, so I'm not setting him up for failure. His latest book, called A Memoir, was published by Onion River Press in May 2021, and I think he'll have some of those for sale afterwards. Mark lives in Essex, Vermont, with his wife Mary Beth and son Liam. I'm not seeing Wanda here, so we'll go on. I'd like to thank other people involved in today's service. James Stewart, our music director, Woody Fulton and David McFeeters for the tech work and setting us up this morning. And today's welcome ambassadors are Deborah Rangioni and Sarah Russell. And I'd like to extend a welcome to everyone participating online from our tree camera over there. During August, while we enjoy the weather out here in front of the meeting house, Erica Reef and Margot Whitcomb and some of our youth are running activities for children around the corner in the Memorial Garden under the tent. So if you need to make use of that, it's available. And if you're visiting for the first time and are feeling brave, please raise your hand so that we might know who you are. There's a couple of newcomers there. Welcome, welcome. Everyone now, please, as we're sort of getting back into this habit now, please take time to greet one another for a few moments. I'll ring the chime when it's time to get back together. You can stand up and greet people if you want to. I like to wait till the chime rings out, but it didn't feel like it was going to end today. Please join in the chalice lighting words, and Mark is going to try and light the chalice for us. Wish him luck. We kindle this chalice flame to remind ourselves of the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. promised the wind would be a challenge. While David's trying, I'm going to read the call to worship. Oh. Thank you, David. We can't have a UU service without a chalice lit. Thank you. People of the First Unitarian Univilla Society come from many different backgrounds and hold a variety of religious and spiritual beliefs and practices. This is a good thing, striving to be a radically welcoming community. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey, whatever your questions, fears, and hopes, you are welcome. We're glad you're here now. Let us worship.
So as we remind ourselves that things like fire has a mind of their own, the air, the earth, the water, I'd like for us to sing this chant together. It's very simple. The words are the earth, the water, the fire, the air. Return, 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 return. That's all it is. Can you say it with me? The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. The earth, the water, the fire, the air, return, 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 return. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Thank you.
Wherever you are on your journey and whatever you might be carrying, I invite you now to join me in a brief meditation. Let us take 4 breaths together as we connect to the 4 elements. 1 breath for the solid earth beneath us. Breathe in, breathe out. 1 breath for the changing sky above us. Breathe in, breathe out. 1 breath for the living waters all around us. Breathe in, breathe out. And 1 breath for the sacred fire within us. Breathe in, breathe out. As we find comfort, support, and renewal in this quiet space with the wind rustling through the trees, let's take a moment to hear the joys and concerns of our community, to hold them in this same spirit of love and tenderness. Deep sorrow for the passing of Marshall Webb of Shelburne Farms. That was from Linda Patterson. Joy for the pleasure I get in watching the kids play in the sand on North Beach. Sorry for all the people I see catching COVID-19 lately. I hope they're all minor cases. And joy for the beautiful weather we've been experiencing lately. We'll now have a few moments of silence, and during the silence, please come forward if you'd like and help us build an altar on the table to my side here. Take a stone from the basket, hold it in your hand and let it accept the warmth from your hand for a moment or two, and then place it on the table with the other stones. I'll place the first one. laid one final stone for all those sorrows and concerns that remain unspoken and unexpressed. Offerings this month will be shared with the Vermont Interfaith Action, partner organization of FUSBA. The mission of VIA is to create solutions to systemic issues that prevent our most vulnerable citizens from enjoying the quality of life God intends for us all. You can learn more about VIA at viavt.org. Please join me in the offering dedication. With gratitude, we dedicate these gifts in the service of our mission to inspire spiritual growth, care for each other and our community, seek truth, and act for justice.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions and only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. 'Cause someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish should be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? What do we think we might see? Well, someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep? And have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is it the sweet sound that called the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same, but I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Well, someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da da dee da da do, la da 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 dee da do.
Cool. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. Beautiful Sunday morning, 10 a.m. This is wonderful. So, yes, my name is Mark Rebman. I'm the director of Spectrum, and I want to thank this society for all it's done for Spectrum over the years. So I started here in 2003, and I work in that building right there, 31 Elmwood. And I remember my predecessor, the late Will Rowe, pointed to this building and he said, that church and those people there have been a tremendous support to Spectrum over the years. and that has proven to be true. I've been here for 19 years, so Spectrum's been around for 52 years, and for at least half of that, if not more, I know this society has been helping Spectrum with donations, with food, people volunteer, and then especially this thing we call the Spectrum Sleep Out. So in 2012, I saw on Facebook that a place in New York City where I used to volunteer had this sleep out where all these people slept outside in the snow and the cold to raise funds. So I thought, well, let's see if we can try that here in Burlington to raise funds for our work with homeless youth. So I called, it wasn't Gary Kowalski, I think it was Roberta, she was the minister. And I said, listen, we need a place to do this. Can we do it on your lawn right there? And I said, I'm sure it'll be like at the max 10 people. How are we gonna, well, the most number of people we're gonna do in March, we always do it in March. So then I called her while I said, I think it's gonna be 20. And then a week later I was like, you know, can it be 30? So we ended up 44 of us slept right there. And then the next year it was 100 people. And so we've done it now every year. It's raised millions of dollars for us. There are people all around the state doing it. So I've slept on that patch of lawn many, many times and not gotten sleep. Tried to sleep between the bells, the ambulances. There was a dumpster that caught fire one year to woke us all up. There's always something exciting at the sleep out, always. But I'm grateful to the UU Society for letting us use the lawn. And I love the labyrinth. I will come over here sometimes after lunch and just walk around the labyrinth. I love that. So Spectrum, what do? We work with young people as young as 12 or 13, all the way up to 24, 25, who could be homeless, they could be runaways, they could have substance use disorder, they could have emotional disorders, they could be in the juvenile justice system, leaving the foster care system, leaving the children's mental health system, kids involved in human trafficking, and it could be a combination, right? So it could be a homeless youth who suffers from substance use disorder. It could be a runaway who's also gotten involved in human trafficking. So we help them in a variety of ways. Right over there in that building is our drop-in center. It's open Monday to Friday. We're probably going to be opening on a weekend soon too. It's low barrier. We don't need your social security number. We don't need your Medicaid number. We don't even need your name. We'd like to know your name, but you don't have to tell us. Come on in, get a hot lunch, hot dinner, change your clothes, do your laundry, take a shower. Community Health Center has a health clinic right in our building, so free medical care for all of our youth. Upstairs, 16 kids live. Hopefully they're up by now, 10:30. And in the winter, we open up, in a couple of weeks, we'll open up on South Winooski Avenue. We have a warming shelter. We realized a couple of years ago, in the winter, we are full all the time. Where do we send young people? Maybe they can go to a hotel room, maybe. The hotels are not the greatest place for a teenager. So we have a 10-bed warming shelter. That's November to March. We're probably gonna make that year-round because of the need. Then we do mentoring. In fact, one of our mentors is here. Jeb Spaulding is one of our mentors. We have about 65 volunteers who are mentors for kids. We started a car detailing business up in Williston. Detail works to teach kids how to work and a trade. So when I talked to Tricia the other day, she said, you know, tell people like what's new at Spectrum. So I would say the latest things is, number one, mental health. The United States and the state of Vermont is in a mental health crisis right now. It was bad before the pandemic, and the pandemic has made it so much worse. So in terms of, it's really sad, teenage suicide, eating disorders, teenage depression, anxieties, all of these things across the country have skyrocketed. 2 years ago, I think I had 6 counselors on staff, licensed mental health counselors. They all worked in that building. I have 14 now. And we still have a waiting list. We still have like 23 kids on our waiting list. I don't want any young person who's suffering from depression or an eating disorder to be on a waiting list. So my goal is to continue to hire staff. But where do I put them? I have some in that building, some in this building, some up on North Street. So big donation came through a few months ago. Just last Wednesday, we bought a building on Pine Street. So I can have all 14 counselors with a nice waiting room. They can be trained. So I would say that's like a new development at Spectrum. Also, I'll work with BIPOC youth. I'll be very honest with you. Until a few years ago, Spectrum was a white agency with a white board of directors, with almost all white staff working with white youth who need our help. And we were missing an entire segment of youth in this county. We now have what's called the Multicultural Youth Program. We have staff who are BIPOC staff. We're working with scores, if not hundreds, of BIPOC youth. We have one staff in Winooski. We're in Essex High School. We're in Hunt Middle School, helping them. Do they need to learn how to drive? Do they need help with tutoring? How do we help them to finish high school? Do they want to go to college? So I'm really happy. And then we're doing what's called restorative justice. A donor came to us and said, I want to start a restorative justice. And what is that? How do we use the police less? How do we suspend kids less from school? If we do have to suspend them, how do we welcome them back into the school? So we picked Winooski High School and Middle School, so she's working up there with those youth. And then the last big thing is St. Albans. So the state asked us about 10 years ago to go to St. Albans and work with youth who are 14 up to 23 in foster care. So they were removed from their home at some point for abuse or neglect, and they're living with foster parents. How to help them finish high school, how to help them find their first apartment. And those two staff, boy, they were on me for years, and they said, we need in Winooski a drop-in center just like we have here in Burlington. So we opened that about 18 months ago. It's right on Lake Street, and boy, we are seeing scores of youth. Younger. Most of the kids over here are like 17, 18. We're seeing 12, 13, 14 in St. Albans. Why? Because here we're lucky. We have the Boys and Girls Club. We have the King Street Center. We have Sarah Holbrook. There's nothing like that in St. Albans. So we're seeing a lot of young people. Same thing, helping them to finish school, tutoring, a lot of food insecurity. The rate of teenage pregnancy in St. Albans is one of the highest in the state. Foster care placements, one of the highest. Homelessness, and I'm so happy. September 1st, we're opening up, we're going to start small, 3 apartments. We have 3 fully furnished, brand new apartments that Champlain Housing Trust is letting us use. So we're going to start with 3 young people who are homeless, so we'll start working with homeless youth too. So those are the big developments. That woman is clapping. Everybody clap. There you go. Thank you. So running Spectrum is a big part of my life. So is my marriage to Mary Beth, who used to be a state representative. And our son Liam just started, he's back at Notre Dame. But the other piece that's really grown is this storytelling piece. And the storytelling starts with The Moth, which was mentioned in my bio there. So The Moth, it's pretty popular. It's on, where's James? It's on Vermont Public Radio every Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m., and then they play it again on Tuesday night. And I've been listening to it for years. It's been around for like 20, 30 years. At first, now it's a podcast, but it's on hundreds of public radio stations, and it's a very simple concept. And once in a while, it's a celebrity, but it's usually an ordinary person getting up on a microphone and telling an interesting story for 5 minutes. That's all it is. So I would listen to it every Saturday, and at the end of it, they always say, if you have a good story to tell, call 1-800-THE-MOTH and leave us a 2-minute message. So I did that. Sometime in 2013, I left a 2-minute message on their 1-800-THE-MOTH number. Didn't think anything about it. 6 months later, 7 months later, I get an email from a woman. She says, hi, I'm a producer at The Moth in New York City. We're coming to Burlington, Vermont for the first time this September to the Flynn Theater, and we got your message. Call me. I want to hear your story. So I called this woman up on the phone, told her the story, and she said, okay, you're in. I said, what do you mean I'm in? She said, we're going to have 5 storytellers. We're flying in our best storytellers from Chicago and LA and New York, and you're the Vermont storyteller. So I told, and they did add, Charles Lindbergh's daughter lives in the Northeast Kingdom, Reeve Lindbergh. She was the other Vermont storyteller. So I told the story on the stage, and then at the end, there was a little reception. So I said to these other storytellers, when do you think our stories are going to be on the radio hour? And they laughed, and they said, oh, these things are taking place all around the world now. None of our stories have ever made it, but they've put mine on 3 times. So that just kicked everything off, and then I heard about a different storytelling podcast, and I contacted them, and then they put me on stage in Brooklyn, then I was on stage in Montreal, and then somebody told me about a televised one, so that's played all over. And then finally what happened, oh, somebody from the North said, hey, in New York City, once a year, it's the largest one-person stage, only one person allowed on stage. You can read poetry, you can tell a story, you can sing, and it's very competitive. It's worldwide, and it's on Broadway. So I applied to that, and I got picked for that. So then I went to the people at the Flynn. I said, I'd like to do the show at Flynn Space. So I did that. So it's so funny. I talked about this with some students at Vermont Commons recently. And a young woman, a student, she's like a senior, she was like, wait a minute. Are you telling me this is how the world works? Are you telling me you left a 2-minute message and now, you're on Broadway and in Montreal, and then I got a book? And I was like, yeah, I am telling you, this is how the world can work. It's not guaranteed, but if you get good, for me it's storytelling. It might be the violin for you. If you can practice at whatever really drives you and is passionate for you and have the guts to put it out there in the world, you do not know. Do you think when I left a 2-minute message in 2013, I was like, well, they're going to call me back and I'm going to be on stage, then I'm going to be in Montreal, and then I'm going to be in Broadway? No, it was a 2-minute message. But as either Wayne Gretzky or Michael Jordan once said, I miss 100% of the shots I never take. So so I always encourage everyone and young people, put yourself out there in the world. So I want to tell you a story. This is a story I told for the Moth about Spectrum. A couple of months ago, they were at the SS Experience then. And it's about the time, it was about 15 years ago. And right over there at that drop-in center, it was December. It was freezing cold at night, like 2 degrees. And we invited a bunch of legislators in from the Vermont State Legislature and to come in and meet with our youth. So we had maybe 10 legislators. We had about 15 of our youth there. So we were talking about different issues. And then one of the legislators, Representative Frank Geyer, I'll never forget it, from South Burlington, he said, hey kids, it's really cold out there. Do any of you know someone who's sleeping out there tonight? And about half the hands went up. He said, have any of you ever had to be homeless at all, even one night in your life? Every single hand went up. He said, well, where do you sleep? When you're out there, where do you sleep? So they told him, we try and get into a laundromat that's open. We sleep on park benches. If we can find an empty train car, we sleep there. So then a different representative asked, if you kids could turn back the clock 5 or 10 years, what choices would you make so you're not in this situation now? So there was a boy right next to her, and he said, sure, I'll go first. Let's see, 10 years ago, I was 8 years old. I lived in the Northeast Kingdom with my parents and my siblings, and my parents were alcoholics. Not the type of alcoholics that would each have a martini and go quietly to bed, but they would each drink a fifth of vodka and beat the hell out of each other and the hell out of us each night. So there really wasn't a choice I could make, to change that. So then a young woman next to him says, yeah, I'll go next. 10 years ago, I was 7. I lived in Rutland. My father was a heroin addict. He eventually died in prison of an overdose. Most of my memories of my mom are visiting her in prison or the police raiding our house in the middle of the night. So eventually, I too became addicted to drugs. And then I went to rehab. And when I finished rehab, I knew that if I went right back to Rutland, I would be using it. But somebody told me about Spectrum, so I've been living here ever since and staying clean. But she said, yeah, there really wasn't a choice I could make at age 7 to make that different. So then another boy goes, let's see, I'm from Burlington. My parents divorced when I was little. My father got custody of me. When I was 15, I told him I was gay, and he kicked me out of the house, and I've been living on the streets ever since. So around the room we went. Not every young person there spoke, but a lot did. And it was all stories that were similar to that. And you could just see the look on each legislator's face as they heard these stories. And then finally, you could tell it's going to end. And there's a young woman seated in front of me, seated on a couch. And I knew her pretty well. She was like 19. She really came from poverty. She had been addicted to cocaine. She'd been in rehab. At one point, she had tried to take her life while she was living with us. We rushed her up to the hospital. They saved her. So she is someone who had really suffered. But she hasn't said a word. So finally she says, I know that when you representatives look at us, you're probably thinking, oh, these are kids who are rebelling just for the sake of rebelling. These are kids who are running away just for the sake of running away. But the truth is, she said, every kid who comes through these doors has a different story to tell. And most of those stories are quite tragic. So with that, I mean, you could hear a pin drop. You could just hear a pin drop. And I remember the man who had started it off, Representative Frank Geyer, said, I'm leaving here to go to a dialogue night at South Burlington High School. And I am not going to hear stories like this. So it was a powerful night. That was 15 years ago. So those young people, they're probably in their 30s by now. I have no idea how they're doing. I hope they're doing well. The young woman from Rutland, I did hear from her. She went to Vermont Learning and got her high school diploma, and she invited me to go, and she was named commencement speaker at graduation. And then I got a Christmas card from her a few years later that said, Dear Mark, this program and the people who work there saved my life. Merry Christmas. And the young woman on the couch, I hear from her a lot, and she stayed with us about a year, got her high school diploma, went to college, got her bachelor's degree. She has her own house. She lives in Burlington. She's doing really, really well, has a great job. So that was a powerful night because, you know, it's very easy for all of us, including me, to look at people who are homeless or people who suffer from substance abuse disorder or emotional disorders and make all kinds of presumptions and all kinds of judgments. But that night, we don't know the backstory, but that night we heard the backstory, and it changed every legislator there, and it changed me too. So I'm going to end. That story is actually, I did write a book. If people want to buy the book, I'll stick around. And that story's in this book. And I'm going to end this talk with this. This is the way I ended my show at the Flynn and the show on Broadway. And Richard and Carolyn were there for the one at the Flynn. And this is what I put in the book. I tell these stories because I believe they give people hope. Hope that people can change, and they can change for the better. People can overcome their addictions. They can overcome their wounds. They can heal, but it just doesn't happen by chance. It happens because of qualities like perseverance, resilience, dedication, and courage. And it takes something else. It takes other people who are willing to leave their bubbles, to leave their comfort zones, and reach out in a spirit of compassion, care, and love. And when you have those two things in combination, that's when amazing, incredible, miraculous things happen. So if you leave here tonight with any message at all, I hope it is that. And if you leave this service today with any message at all, I hope it is that. Thank you, UU Society, for all you've done for Spectrum, and thank you for inviting me today.
I invite you to stand with me if you're able in body or spirit. Sing this song together. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we'll get there, and we'll get there. Heaven knows when we will get there, but we know we will, and it will be hard, we know. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Can we sing that again from the beginning? We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know within, and we'll get there, and we'll get there. Heaven knows when we will get there, but we know we will, and it will be hard, and It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. Ooh, yeah, yeah. 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 We are going. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going. We know we're there, and we'll get there, and we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will, and it will be hard, and it will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows when we will get there. We know we will. Ooh, yeah, yeah. 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 Keep singing those words. Ooh, yeah, yeah. 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 We are going. Heaven knows where we are going. But we know within. And we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. But we know we will. And it will be hard. And it will be hard, we know. And the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. But we know we will. One more time, sing woo ya ya, just our voices. Woo ya ya, woo ya ya, woo ya ya, woo ya ya. So all of church can hear you. Woo ya ya, woo ya ya, woo ya ya, woo ya ya. Thank you. Please be seated.
The wind has already extinguished the flame, so let's thank it with the normal words. We've extinguished this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with the world until we are together again. The benediction is taken from Summer Sabbath, which was written by the Reverend Kathleen McTeague. Go someplace you haven't been before, when no one knows you, where you don't think twice about what to wear, how to look, or who might be watching, as you let your body ease out into the sun and bask lazy as a cat. Untether yourself from the engines of business, one by one. Laptop, desktop, wristwatch, scribbled lists, even the telephone, especially the one you carry everywhere. The little tyrant, this will all feel unnatural, but it's not. Sit by the water, a place where the sea comes in, warm as a breath, where the crest of each nighttime wave catches the moon and spreads it out again, lavish on the sand. Go and think about time, how much you've got left, how to pass, fill, use or spend it, whether you might accidentally lose or waste it. and certainly never entertain the thought that time is money. It's not. Thank you for coming.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be. Let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. But though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be. Let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. When the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Help me sing it. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Thank you. Go in peace. There's coffee over there. Enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, I was just